The lawyer's office smelled of old leather and expensive coffee. I sat across from Martin Hendricks, his state attorney, as he slid a thick folder across his mahogany desk. "Your great-uncle's property is substantial," he said, adjusting his wire-rimmed glasses. 3,247 acres in Pine Valley, including the entirety of Crystal Lake. I blinked. The entire lake? Every drop. Martin opened the folder, revealing maps and deeds dating back to 1892. "Your family has owned it for over a century. The property generates approximately $340,000 annually in revenue." My coffee cup stopped halfway to my lips. Revenue? From what? That's where it gets interesting. Martin's expression darkened. The Lakeside Estates HOA has been operating boat rentals, fishing permits, and lakefront access fees for the past 42 years. They've collected millions. But is my family's lake? Correct. And they've never paid a single dollar in lease agreements or usage fees. The words hit me like cold water. That's theft. Legally, it's more complicated. Your great-uncle was reclusive. He lived in the original homestead on the North Shore and apparently never challenged them. The HOA likely assumed they had some implicit right, or they simply didn't care. I stared at the deed, my great-uncle's signature faded but still visible. Theodore Blackwood. I'd met him exactly once, when I was 7. He'd seemed ancient then, living in that sprawling log cabin, surrounded by pine trees and silence. What are my options? I asked. Martin smiled. It wasn't a friendly smile. It was a smile of a lawyer who loved his job. You own the lake. You can do whatever you want with it. The drive to Pine Valley took 4 hours. The town materialized like something from a postcard. Pristine streets, boutique shops, and houses that cost more than most people earned in a lifetime. Crystal Lake shimmered in the distance, impossibly blue against a mountain backdrop. The Lakeside Estates community sprawled along the southern shore. Massive homes with private docks, manicured lawns, and Tesla charging stations. At the lake's entrance, a large sign read, "Lakeside Estates. Crystal Lake Access. Members and permit holders only." My hands tightened on the steering wheel. I parked at the public access point, which was technically my property, and walked down to the marina. Dozens of boats bobbed in the water. A cheerful attendant in a polo shirt emblazoned with Lakeside Estates HOA waved at a family paying for a pontoon rental. $200 for 4 hours, he chirped. Fishing gear is extra. I approached slowly. Busy day? Summer season. He grinned. We're booked solid through August. You need a rental? I can put you on the wait list. Who owns this marina? The HOA. We manage all lake access for community. You looking to buy property here? I can give you the sales office number. I smiled thinly. No thanks. Just doing research. Back in my car, I did the math. $200 per rental, dozens of boats per day, 7 days a week, plus annual membership fees for homeowners, plus fishing permits, plus beach access fees. The numbers were staggering. My phone buzzed. Martin had emailed me 42 years of HOA financial records, public documents he'd requested. I scrolled through line after line of lake-related revenue. In the last 5 years alone, they collected over $2.3 million from my water, my family's water. The HOA office was a gleaming glass building near the community center. Inside, a receptionist with perfect teeth looked up from her computer. "Can I help you?" "I'd like to speak with the HOA president. It's about Crystal Lake. Do you have an appointment?" "No, but I think she'll want to see me." 10 minutes later, I sat across from Patricia Carmichael, HOA president. She wore a red blazer that probably cost more than my car payment, and an expression that suggested I was wasting her very valuable time. "I have a meeting in 15 minutes, she said. What's this about? I placed the property deed on her desk. I inherited Crystal Lake 3 weeks ago. All 3,247 acres. Her eyes flicked to the document. Something shifted in her face. A micro expression of alarm quickly masked by indignation. That's impossible. The HOA has managed lake access for decades. Managed, yes. Oh no. My family has owned this lake since 1892. You've been operating a commercial enterprise on private property without permission or payment. Patricia's jaw tightened. Your great-uncle never objected. My great-uncle is dead. I'm not him. I leaned forward. You collected millions in revenue for my property. I want to shut down. Immediately, she laughed, a sharp, brittle sound. You can't be serious. This community depends on lake access. Our property values are not my problem. We'll fight you in court. Adverse possession, easement rights will. You lose. I stood. My attorney specializes in property law. You have no legal claim to this lake. You've been trespassing for 4 decades. The only question is whether you shut down voluntarily or I have the sheriff remove your equipment. Patricia stood, her face flushed. This is extortion. No, this is property ownership. You have 72 hours. The next 3 days were chaos. Patricia called an emergency HOA meeting. Homeowners flooded social media with outrage. Local news picked up the story. Lakeside Estates faces lake access crisis. The comment sections were predictable. Entitled rich people furious that consequences existed. I received 14 calls from HOA attorneys. I ignored them all and forwarded everything to Martin. On day 3, I drove to the lake with a contractor, a surveyor, and Sheriff Rodriguez, who'd reviewed the legal documents and confirmed my rights. Patricia stood at the marina entrance, arms crossed, flanked by a dozen angry homeowners. News cameras had gathered, sensing drama. You can't do this, someone shouted. This is our community, another yelled. I approached the marina attendant, who looked terrified. You're fired. Remove all HOA equipment from the premises by sunset. Patricia stepped forward, waving a document. We're filing an injunction. Sheriff Rodriguez cleared his throat. Ma'am, I reviewed the case. Mr. Blackwood owns this property. You're currently trespassing. This is ridiculous. Patricia's voice rose. Our members pay dues. We've maintained this lake. You profited from stolen access. I corrected. If you'd like to negotiate a lease agreement, my attorney can draw up terms. Otherwise, get off my property. The cameras captured everything. Patricia's red face, the shocked homeowners, the marina equipment being loaded onto trucks. That evening, I stood on the dock of my great-uncle's cabin, watching the sunset paint the water gold and crimson. The lake was silent, except for loons calling in the distance. My phone buzzed. Martin's message was short. HOA requesting lease negotiation meeting. They're offering $500,000 annually plus back payment of $2 million. Your move. I smiled and looked out over the water. All 3,247 acres of it. My water. My property. My terms. Finally, after 42 years, the lake belonged to the Blackwood family again. And this time, everyone would pay their fair share.